About 3 years ago, I noticed in the Hep C review that they wanted people for a study. It was called the Advanced Study, and it was to test a new hepatitis C drug. I think they're a protease inhibitor or something like that. And they wanted people with one genotype 1A to go on this. It's now been approved. Telabrevir's now been approved in America, and they gave the odds at the success rates of more than 50% for my genotype, and they were better odds. So I decided to try it, and thank God I did.
There's 4 basic genotypes to the best of my knowledge, and 2 of the genotypes, I believe genotypes 1 and 4, you have 48 weeks of treatment, you have higher doses of one of the drugs, and you have a lower chance of success of treatment. For the other 2 genotypes, 2 and 3, you have a lower dose of the drugs, 24 weeks of treatment, a much shorter treatment, half the length, and a higher chance of success. So it really makes a difference, and it's an important consideration if you're going in to consider treatment.
I had what's called a favourable genotype, and if I was able to stay on treatment, when I went on treatment for 6 months, I had a 92 or 93% chance of clearing the virus.
I'm very fortunate. I cleared my Hep C status. When I went on to before I went on to the treatment, I was told about what genotype I had, and that there were 4 genotypes. 2 of them were pretty much not really good at clearing it, and the other 2 are pretty good.
The Hep C journal had stories from people who'd been diagnosed similar situations to myself, and they decided, it was stories of people about their treatment and about what had happened to them, and it gave me a very, without it being scaremongering or being, oh, it's all just wonderful, so it was nothing, it was real, and it gave me a very clear idea of the sort of different things that I might be facing, and that allowed me to see it as an investment in time, and it's an opportunity to clear this virus.
I guess part of the decision to go on treatment is you don't know what the side effects are going to be for you. So some people sail through, clear the virus, never been happier. Some people suffer terribly, become exhausted, get all the side effects, and there's a lot of them, and don't clear the virus, and you don't know where you're going to fit until you take it. And so I guess you sort of take your chances in a way. You get informed, and then you see what might happen. Take your chances on the treatment.
So I was given three drugs. Well, actually, it was a double-blind study, so we didn't know whether I was getting a placebo or the Telabravir, and then the ribavirin tablets and the interferon injections. I'd become so sick and lethargic that I wasn't scared of I couldn't get any sicker. And treatment could only get me better. So it wasn't easy, but I got through. It wasn't that hard. I got through it.
My first experience with treatment was 12 years ago, and I saw the specialist, and he suggested that I go on treatment, which I did, and I started. Unfortunately, what happened for me was I had a really bad reaction to the treatment. I started to have suicidal thoughts. I was extremely depressed. I felt like I even didn't know it was happening to me.
I'd heard stories from people about how difficult the treatment was. I waited to do that treatment till I was in a place where I didn't have high demands on my time and I had a stable environment around me and all that sort of thing, and I wasn't too desperate for money, etc. So I was in a place where I could do it no matter what happened.
I went on my second treatment 10 years ago. I was only allowed to go on that treatment if I was on medication, if I had support with a psychiatrist and a psychologist, which I did. I had those supports. And the second time around was a lot easier.
There were moments when, there were several times I was taken to hospital from side effects and things like that, but for that 48 weeks, for the value that I had, the health I have now, and the benefits of actually living longer, maybe, and than not having treatment, it far outweighs the 48 weeks of illness.
I was doing 3 days study and 3 days working and 1 day at home, so I didn't stay home for the first treatment. But unfortunately, even though there was an 80% success rate with a 3A genotype, and for doing it for 6 months, but in those days they tested us every month, so for 3 months I was okay, but when they did the 6-month test, it came back that I was positive again, and I felt like crap. I almost felt like going out and having a big drink, but they offered me a year program. That was in October 2004. I could do it for a year. I might go if I did it for a year, and there was no way I wanted to do it for a year, because also I didn't have a car, so I was catching 2 buses to get to the hospital, to get the treatment, to get the tablets. Sometimes they weren't there too. They had a bit of a problem with supply. And then you have to wait around for an interview with a doctor, and that was often 2 hours or 3 hours sometimes, so it was a whole day to do all that. And I decided I didn't want to do treatment again, so I sat at home and I thought, and I went to a support group meeting, and a guy there said he'd done 2 treatments and that perhaps if I did another treatment it would work. So over Christmas I thought about it. I thought I'd rather be on treatment because at least I have the hope that it may go and the liver's not getting any worse, and I guess I could catch the bus again.